Hello, Crypto Chap here. Well, good heavens above. Ethereum does seem to be having a good day today, doesn't it? Rising a further 10%. All-time highs in terms of dollar price, and big gains in terms of Bitcoin too. News BTC lists the key highlights as follows. Ethereum price is moving nicely and recently traded close to $1,000 against... There is a monster bullish trend line forming with support at $960. There are chances of more gains above $1,000 in the near term. I personally am considering scalping a few £100 of my Ethereum, just cause. A further look at the chart sees small gains for Bitcoin, and Ripple faltering slightly. But after seeing such massive gains over the last few weeks, a small correction makes perfect sense. Tron's also made a small pullback in the wake of its recent massive rise. Meanwhile, over on Reddit, some posters are expressing concern about Tron. In particular, concerns have been raised with regards to Tron's white paper. Arson Bunny suggests Tron is only mooning because of its cool name, low nominal price, and that Justin Sun is good at social media. Particularly, it's been suggested that he's a master at exploiting people who know nothing about cryptocurrencies and fear of missing out. It's also been suggested that the fact that Tron is rising so much is simply China. Others suggest that those who express such sentiments are merely salty because they may have missed out. Who knows? Time will tell. One thing's for certain though, Tron is certainly looking very, very impressive. It's almost so parabolic it's going back on itself. In terms of gainers, Sooncoin is making massive gains of over 1,000% in the last 24 hours. Aeron and Kitcoin also stand out as massive gainers with large trading volumes, in addition to AirSwap, Nexus and Dent. The biggest name on the biggest losers chart is clearly Stellar Lumens, with a small 13% correction in the wake of its recent gains. I will now hand over to Jeeves for a look at the news. Well, I'm going to be honest, this whole Tron thing is very, very interesting. This really interesting. Another thing that is quite interesting is this. Coinbase is denying the fact that any new cryptos are going to be listed. And so here's the statement. As of the date of this statement, we have made no decision to add additional assets to either GDAX or Coinbase. Any statement to the contrary is untrue and not authorized by the company. Now, that's really, really interesting, which then begs the question, what's going to happen to Ripple and maybe some of the other cryptos that have seen rises due to such rumors? So is Ripple going to see a massive pullback now? Well, if you take a look right here, it looks very much like Ripple may be starting to make a small pullback as it is. It's had a small pullback over the last few hours, possibly since this statement was made. However, it's evident that possibly some investors are seeing this as a good opportunity to grab some Ripple as it pulls back a little bit, but maybe that's due to that news right there. Also in mainstream media, Dogecoin is being discussed. Now, Dogecoin, of course, was started as a bit of a joke, a way for Redditors to reward each other for comments they make. But now we can see, simply because of the value it's accrued over the years, is now gaining some mainstream media attention. And when you have a coin like Dogecoin being talked about by CNBC, I think that's certainly evidence of cryptocurrency going mainstream. And I think this irony right here kind of expresses the whole... not problem, but the whole situation with cryptocurrency right now. And so Dogecoin's creator is a little bit miffed at the fact that his coin has reached such a massive market cap, despite the fact it was started as a joke. And I think the problem with cryptocurrency is that no matter what the intention it was started for, any cryptocurrency has the potential to be exploited, to be taken advantage of. Now, the whole idea of Bitcoin in the first place was for it to be a decentralized way of sharing value, of transferring wealth, and possibly a challenge to the banking system. But the problem we're seeing now is that such large players are getting involved in cryptocurrencies, especially in the altcoins, that relatively small groups of people can have a massive influence, which essentially centralize a cryptocurrency. And so even something like Bitcoin, which can be centralized simply because people see it as a means of creating wealth. Now, I guess that's a good thing in a way because it shows that it's gaining popularity, that it's becoming more and more mainstream. However, it is also a problem for those who, on a philosophical level, would rather that cryptocurrency remain this kind of decentralized kind of movement. And that word decentralization coming up again here as Zuckerberg looks to use blockchain technology or the cryptocurrency idea to decentralize Facebook. That things like encryption and cryptocurrency can take power from centralized systems and put it back into people's hands. And he's interested to go deeper and study the positive and negative aspects of these technologies and how best to use them in his services. But the problem is, I think there are always going to be people. There are always going to be people who are motivated by power, by money, who are not going to attack decentralized systems, but are going to seek to use them to their advantage. Just going back to the comment I made before about the initial purpose of a cryptocurrency not necessarily being what it's actually used for, I think that in a way, all cryptocurrencies at the moment aren't being used for what they're meant for. They're not filling the measure of their creation, if you will. And the reason that I kind of think that is because even though there are lots and lots of people involved in cryptocurrency who philosophically believe in the idea of decentralization, I genuinely feel that, and there's nothing wrong with this, a lot of people invest in cryptocurrency to make a bit of money. I think the idea of decentralization is very, very important. I think it's necessary, and I think it's necessary to take power away from people who control the flow of wealth around the world. And I think it's important to put that power back in the hands of the people who use it every day. However, am I also seeking to profit a little bit from the situation from the volatile situation we're seeing whilst all these cryptocurrencies settle down, and whilst they settle down? Yes. I think that a lot of the trading that goes on right now, a lot of these trading volumes are to do with people making gains, scalping, day trading, whatever you want to call it. Something like Ripple may eventually be used to revolutionize the banking system. Bitcoin will eventually be a currency which can be used to buy things in the shops. And I mean, it is now. I've made videos about the places that you can already use Bitcoin. But eventually, it will boil down to being just that. But for now, it is something that people want to profit from. And I feel that the real value in any cryptocurrency basically comes down to what it's actually going to do in the long term. And so I'm really interested in things like 10x Pay tokens, which have some direct application to the real world. Steem's another interesting one because it's actually being used in the real world now to share some kind of value. And Dogecoin too. Now everybody knows that Dogecoin was initially started as a joke. However, it's a form of expressing appreciation for something which has some kind of use. People like to express appreciation, and Dogecoin is viewed as a legitimate way of doing that. Hence, it has value. And I guess the challenge for most of these cryptocurrencies is going to be to have value in the long term once all this has settled down. I think that a lot of these altcoins are simply going to disappear. Who knows when that's going to happen? Who knows? I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. But long term, a lot of these altcoins simply aren't going to exist. By the way, thanks very much for your view. Thanks very much for listening to me ramble on about something that I feel is really important, something I'm passionate about.